So this week, it won't just be me talking. I've got my beautiful wife, Samantha,
Mhm.
here. And the reason why is because, well, you guys have heard me talk about it before, that I try and take January and February off. Well, I've taken all of January off, and I got to go back to work in a few days, and I haven't made a video for you guys. So since I'm not at work, I thought this would be a good opportunity to bring my wife on and kind of give her opinion on what it's like to, well, to be the wife of a Walmart driver on, you know, being over the road, being gone all the time, and then getting a job like this and then being around all the time. Besides being irritated, I think there's probably some good things that have come out of this for her. We'll see. So this is my wife, Samantha.
Hi.
And so she's a homemaker. She homeschools. She's a stay-at-home mom. And well, when I started Walmart, our oldest daughter, she was 6 months old. So we were already in a big life change. But it kind of goes along with the first question I have, which is, how did Walmart change your life? Or should I say our life? Either
Um,
way.
right. It made it to where we were a family again. We were together. We were able to see each other. Um, Having a brand new baby, she was able to see her dad, and
Yeah.
for the first 6 months, it was just me and her. So it brought us closer as a family. That's how it changed our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I remember right, well, actually, I'm sure of it. For those 6 months, I was actually working local for the first time in a long, long time. I was hauling milk from dairies and just I was home every night. And so I've always been home for our kids, pretty much. I mean, I'm regional now, but um, so I mean, you kind of got broke into the change a little bit in those first 6 months, but
Yeah.
Walmart really changed it because, well, we started getting paid more than we'd ever
Yep.
paid.
Yeah. We got good pay. Well, when he was working local, he worked all day and then he slept. He worked all day, then he came home and he slept, and we just really never saw him. He was so tired. How many hours?
Oh, yeah, it was like 16,
16,
17
17
hours.
hours.
Yeah,
And so he'd just come home, say hi, play with the baby for a minute, and go to bed.
yeah.
Where now he has time to come home, and
Relax, irritate everybody.
I was gonna say that, but I thought don't say that. Not really, but
But actually, you brought memory back on that. Yeah, when I was working local, I mean, literally, I had to come home and like rush to do each thing, like see the baby, visit with her, shower, eat, and then, get to bed as soon as I could because dairy pickup, when you're picking milk at dairies, a lot of that was like at 2, 3, 4 in the morning and then long days. So it was always really early. So, well, I guess the question is, did you ever want to give up on the trucking life? Now, I know there's got to be a difference between in the beginning when I was gone 4 to 6 to 8 weeks at a time
yeah.
and then Walmart. So, how'd that change?
So Walmart was the redeeming. I was done. I was done with him being a truck driver. I was pregnant with her first, and he was gone a lot. What was it, 4 weeks?
Yeah, at least
At
four to
least four
six.
weeks,
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks with just a couple days. I was done. And this, I told him, I can't take it anymore. And then Walmart kind of came. Well, we moved,
Yeah.
and then he was trying the local, which again was just taking away from his time and his health. And Walmart was kind of the last straw, and it became like the perfect solution. We can get rid of him for a while, and then he came. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, do you remember the exact statement you made about me being gone with the baby?
No.
I do. The statement was, I don't know what you're going to do, but you're not doing this anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I said.
So it
Yeah.
was like, well, time to figure it out. But that's not how I found Walmart. I found Walmart only because it was people I worked with and they were saying it was like one of the best jobs. And I was pretty negative against it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And just out of curiosity, I made a phone call and the guy was like, can you come down here today? This is at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? I'm like, sure. He goes, yeah, we're not hiring after tomorrow, which they didn't hire for a long time after that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
We're
a,
like the last.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was one more session and then that was it. one more session of hiring after me, and then that was the end. They didn't hire for years. So, well, what's good about being a trucker's wife, or what's good about being a Walmart driver's wife?
One, the pace. I
Right.
mean, you can't I'm able to stay home, and take care of our daughters, and, he's able to work and then come home, and, uh, we're able to do that on one salary. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't need to go away, and I homeschool, so I'm able to stay home and teach our kids
Yeah, which is pretty rare nowadays. I mean,
and buy groceries.
yeah, buy a house, have a car, things like that. I mean, I wouldn't say we're rich, even close to that, but we do okay.
We do okay, and I don't have to go out of the home for us to do that,
Right.
so
Yeah. So, I mean, it worked out pretty well. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, both spouse, man and wife, they shouldn't have to work. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. And she knows she can go work if she wants to. I don't mind, but you shouldn't have to. Like, life has forced you into it's this or you're not going to make it, or you're going to live in poverty or whatever. I don't want to make this into a political thing or anything like that, but I mean, our country has gotten to the point where you kind of both have to work unless one of you has a really good job, and we talked about it early on. We wanted our kids homeschooled. We didn't want them to be without a parent, at least one parent there with them all the time. And that goes into another whole nother story. We're not going to get into it, but I mean, you know, she had issues when she was young. So did I, because parents weren't available, and we just weren't going to let that happen with our family. So, well, I mean, what are some of the benefits for me working at Walmart? Like particular benefits, maybe the time off or something like that.
yeah, time off, being the kids get to see you,
Yeah,
in a shorter length of time where, every 5 days they get to see you. They get to instead of when's dad coming home? Um, I think one of the biggest thing is we know when you're gonna be home.
yeah,
So we know sometimes there's a day maybe you didn't make it back all the way with your hours and but usually we know you're gonna be home. If you say on Friday, you're gonna be home on Friday.
yeah,
And we know that you're gonna leave at a certain time, and it makes the scheduling so much easier.
yeah.
So much I don't know, easier is the word, but, it's definitely nicer. There's
Well,
no mystery in when you're gonna be home.
that's the thing right there. I've talked about that before. There's not one time that I didn't come home on the day I was supposed to go home, and there wasn't a day where I went back to work where, it was always when I'm supposed to go to work and when I'm supposed to be home.
Yeah.
And out of 18 years, they've never failed with that. Well, with the family, that's really important, because you gotta be able to plan on things and do, based on your schedule.
Yeah.
And, so that was a big change. I think the other change is that all the other trucking jobs I had, at the end, there was a little bit of a schedule choice, but it wasn't much. But overall, no schedule. The schedules, you're just gone for like 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that was huge to be able to pick. I
And
think in the early days, I was doing like work 6 days, get 3 off,
yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that made a
6
big difference, right?
Yeah, and just being home, actually having the time and the pay difference and being home for 5 days,
Yeah.
that's been an incredible I yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a great gift, so
Well, like right now, I've been off for the entire month. Over the years, I've done where I've taken January and February off. And I know that sounds like a lot, but you got to remember I work 5 days on, 5 days off. So I only have to take so many days off within those 2 months to be off for 2 months. Um, Last year, I didn't do it. I think we went on vacation to Kauai,
yeah.
and I ended up using some other time for some other stuff. Well, she was sick. I think that's what it was. And so I didn't really have the extra time to be taken off in January or February. This year, I just took January off, and it has been very relaxing. Um, I had all these big plans to do and stuff, and well, nothing got done. So
You should be well rested.
yeah, very well rested. Yeah, I don't want to go back now. So, what are some of the bad things, or maybe I shouldn't say bad? What are some of the not so good things about being a Walmart driver? Anything in particular, or is that just truck driving in general?
Well, we'll stick with the Walmart for a minute. He's treated so well that it just changed his what do you want to say?
Spoiled?
He's spoiled.
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to find a more elegant way of saying it, but he's just super spoiled with his job, his schedule. Walmart treats him really good, and sometimes when he comes home, I go, "This is a Walmart boy," in a kind way. But yeah, I think that's the only really bad as far as being with Walmart. He's just so spoiled. Um, but I mean, in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a blessing, actually. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, well, I just recently here, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, I was sitting in the parking lot at our Wairika Walmart, which is up near where we live at. And there was a guy pulled up and said, yeah, he had an interview coming and his wife was sitting in the car too. And they were asking me all these questions and I didn't really know what to tell her other than, well, he's going to be around a lot more. Actually, he'd already worked local, but I mean, he's going to get paid a lot more and you're going to be able to go in the truck with them and just a bunch of stuff. So, what would you tell somebody if they pulled up on you and said, hey, I got a job at Walmart? Reassure my wife this is a good thing.
Yeah.
What would you tell her to make it sound good?
Um, and that he would be home more. There would be a lot more home time. The pay would be a lot better.
Stress?
This less stress.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't know about everyone else, but for me, when he's on the road, it's stressful for me because I'm concerned of what's going on, and I definitely I know where he's at more. He knows where he's at more. We kind of used to where he goes, so um, the kind of worry and stress of where he is if he's okay is definitely less
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I go to most of the same places. So, I'm pretty used to where I go. It used to be, she's been with me, across the United States a couple of times. But overall, back in the older days for me to tell her, well, hey, I'm in this little town in Iowa or, on some coastal town over on the East Coast or whatever, she doesn't really know where I'm at. She can look at a map or whatever, and I would imagine that gives you a pretty uneasy feeling about,
Yeah.
you know, if something happened, what would we know, other than he said he was in this particular spot. At this point, you're pretty familiar with everything, and I'm regional, and so I mostly just do Washington, Nevada, Oregon, and California, and
Yeah.
she's been to most of these places, and so it probably feels a lot better to, no, it's still a couple, I could still be over 1,000 miles away, but it's a big difference if you've never been there, and it's 3,000 miles away.
Right.
It really does make a difference. I
Well,
think.
yeah, and it brings up another point. If there's a family emergency or something, he's only so many miles. He's not over, we're in California, he's not in Florida. If something major goes down, you might be a day and a half away,
Right.
but that's far better than weeks.
Yeah.
That's been another benefit, how close you've been.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if somebody's wife was used to them being gone that many miles, I think that might resonate with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Also, the fact that we both learned pretty quick that, if things are, it's bad weather, dangerous, I don't have to keep driving.
Yeah.
I could just be like, this is not safe. I'm not going any further. I'm just going to park it right here.
Especially with the wind. Yeah.
Yeah, the wind. Well, over here on the West Coast, we have the mountain ranges. So let us know, let it change. I know for some people that sounds real dangerous, but if you just take it slow and, you know, don't get in a big hurry, it's really not that dangerous, you know. Um, but if it is, I just stop, and that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we usually make sure when he goes into bad weather that he lets me know.
Yep.
Bad signal and bad weather. If he's going into bad signal, he'll let me know that he's in bad signal.
Right.
So that I'm not wondering where he's at. Not that I keep tabs all day, but it's just, it's a peace of mind. And then,
Well, and that's something to think about too. For 18 years, I've gone to all the same places. And so I may park at a pullout somewhere or a rest area. And like for us over here on the West Coast, there's places between here and the ocean, here in the northern section, where there's no cell signal at all. So, I mean, if you stop for the night there, yeah, there's no phone calls or nothing, and so I know that. I'm really used to it, and she knows if I'm going in a particular area. She's been doing this, with me all these years. She knows, well, I'm probably not gonna hear from you, or you're gonna stop early, aren't you? So I don't worry about it and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that would probably be a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I mean, we have a pretty well balanced family life.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty balanced.
Because sometimes people tell me, well, it's not fair to your kids. You're gone like 5 days. I don't know. Our kids seem pretty good with it.
Yeah, they do. And, it gives that, it kind of gives some anticipation, excitement for the day he comes home.
Yeah, that's true.
It really builds on, we have a 5-year-old, and so it's like Christmas every time he comes home.
Yeah.
She knows the day, and she just waits excitedly, and then kind of bonds, brings a bond.
Yeah.
But I think we have a really well balanced life, considering how much you are home and how little you're gone.
Yeah. Actually, that makes me think all these years, like I said, when I first started, my youngest was 6 months old, and then she's 18 now, and then the middle one, 12.
Mm-hmm.
She's 12.
Yeah.
I had to ask, and then the little one is 5. And so throughout all the 18 years that I've worked here, I've had one of my daughters running out to the car to greet me when I get home. So I've had that like solid for all these years. And so maybe it's time to retire, right? Because
Right.
she's gonna get older.
She's still running now, but
So overall, I just wanted my wife to say how she felt about this, how it's affected her life, our life, and I don't know, maybe that'll help somebody out there that's thinking about getting a job at Walmart. A lot of you guys that I've met, which I've met quite a few people, whether they got a job or not, um, that say they watch my videos, and most of them, yeah, I'd say most of them say, their wives had all these questions, or they're just as involved with their husband on looking into this, getting a job at Walmart as they are, even though they're not the ones going to be working there. But I mean, they're having to go through it just as much as their husband because they got to deal with, well, being a truck driver's wife. So maybe this will help, some of your wives out there that if you're talking about it. And I don't know, take it from a woman, if you don't believe me. But as usual, if you guys want to try to apply for Walmart, then I've said it before, a referral is what you want. And so the information here, I'm going to put it on the screen. And this information here is what you want to put on your application. And then here's where you apply right here. It's drive4walmart.com. And so that's where you go to apply, find out where they're hiring, that kind of thing. And then here's my email address, which, if you're thinking about it or, you are applying or you just got questions, send me an email. I love helping. I've
he
told
answers
people
every one of them.
I do. Yep, I answer every one of them. And if I missed one out there, I'm sorry. It's a lot of emails that come in. But even if you don't use me as a referral, because I get it, you may know other Walmart drivers. I'm fine with that. I'm still would like to help. Still send me an email. So, well, you think that's good then, or
I hope so.
if not, then we'll be back. All right, you guys have a great week.
Catch you later.